All right, we're going to go ahead and get this meeting started. Good evening. I do appreciate the outpouring of conversation and everything like that, and thank you all for being here. Packed room, standing room only, so thank you very much. Counselors, if y'all would please ensure that your microphones are on, and you might hear a little housekeeping and things like that as we move through the processes, since I've got a lot of faces here that I'm not used to seeing. So if I start getting into some housekeeping or some education about our processes, just please understand it's for some of those that don't come very often. That being said, Counselor Box, if you would be so kind, sir.
I'd be glad to, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you care to join me for a minute. Father God, we come before you, Lord, humbly. We thank you, Lord, for everybody that's shown up here tonight. Lord, we thank you for everybody in this city. We seek your will and your way, Father God. We seek that will and your way, sometimes with passions that may disagree, but we ask for your guidance to help us work out whatever the best solutions may be. Thank you for letting us all treat each other charitably with kindness and love in this discussion. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Box. Sir. Roll call. Councilman London.
Present.
Councilwoman Cuellar.
Here.
Councilman Box. Here. Councilman Sims.
Here.
And myself here as well. We'll go ahead and get into our first order of business. If we could get a motion for the approval of the minutes of the regular city council meeting on May 20th of 2025.
Motion to approve the minutes. Second.
Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No noes, no abstentions. Fair enough. Next item on the agenda is the approval for the current bills for payment. If we could get some movement on that.
Have a few handouts to give. 3 go that way. 1 goes this way. You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I have no other
Oh, okay,
comments.
just
wanted to
observations.
hand it to
I'm going
y'all.
to pass this one copy to Miss Lee so that she has
Okay.
the record of it.
I thought I had 5
think
copies.
I don't think
Did someone? Okay, here we go, Council President.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, thank you. With no comments on the expenses, do we have a motion?
Make a motion that we pay the current bills of $1,115,728.59.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes?
Abstain.
One abstention. Thank you, ma'am. All right, that being said, normally we would roll to the mayor's report and announcements of any special guests, but he is traveling and unavailable this evening, so we will go ahead and pass by. I'm going to go ahead and get into, I'll start with my report. One thing I do want to just read for record, as I was asked to do so, is in order to start my report, I'm going to talk about our CDA, and I know we've got some representation from the CDA here with us tonight if we need. But Resolution 2025 R-04 authorizes the execution of a request for the change of City Council liaison to the Commercial Development Authority of Irondale. Be it hereby resolved by the Council Development Authority of the City of Irondale, Alabama, in regular meeting duly assembled, a quorum being present, that Chairman Catherine Hogwood or her designee is hereby authorized to request that City Council Chairperson David Spivey remove City Councilor Cindy Cuellar as council liaison and appoint Councilor Aaron Sims to the position. I was asked to read that into record. That concludes my report for the evening. Thank you, Councilman Sims.
That's going to be gone second. Good evening. Thank you for coming, everybody. I got a statement I want to make. Misrepresenting the facts can be very dangerous. That's a headline I wish we had seen run because it captures the real risk we're facing here in Irondale. Over the past few years, this council and this administration have taken bold action to invest in our city's future: roads, sidewalks, public safety, infrastructure, generational projects, We've passed balanced budgets, expanded services, improved quality of life for our residents, and grown our reserves by over 250%, now over 14 million. Every single dollar spent has been debated, authorized, and approved by this council. Hasn't been done in secret, not without oversight, and not without process. And yet we continue to see a years-long campaign of misinformation. Led by one of our own, Councilor Cuellar has repeatedly used public platforms to undermine the work of this council and mayor, often with claims that are misleading, inflammatory, or simply false. She alleged that the very projects we voted on threaten the city's financial future. She's accused fellow councilors and the mayor of racism and sexism when the votes didn't go her way. Let's not forget the resolution she introduced, so blatantly unconstitutional that our city attorney had to strike out a majority of it. It attempted to ban residents from making facial expressions at public meetings and would have given her and the council the power to ban people from public meetings if she disagreed with them. That's not transparency. That's not democracy. That's anti-First Amendment nonsense. Let's also be crystal clear. Every expense is in the budget, in the councilor's expense reports, and in plain view of the council and the public. And yet we continue to hear claims of fiscal irresponsibility while voting against audits, infrastructure investments, and even basic staff support that our city needs to function. It's as if she's trying to run the city off her own shadow budget that nobody sees but her, one she's created without the full information from the finance department and without knowing what the department heads are planning. It's no wonder she thinks that things are amiss. She's operating on half the information and trying to impose her will with nothing except made-up fake budget to back her up. She accuses others of playing politics while running a fake Facebook profile that blocks council members and citizens, preventing anyone from correcting the misinformation it spreads. And now, after years of no votes and abstentions, after years of obstruction, she's recently taken to copying my resolutions and replacing them back on the agenda, not because of any new information or improvements, but because I guess it's election season. I suppose Oscar Wilde was right. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness. Let me be clear. I will not stay silent while she tries to discredit the work of this council and the administration to serve her own political agenda. I speak under my real name. I stand by my votes. I own my record, and I welcome accountability. I will not stand by while half-truths, character attacks, and revisionist history take the place of serious leadership. The people of Irondale deserve facts, they deserve solutions, and they deserve leaders who show up to build and not to tear down.
Does that conclude your report?
That concludes my report.
Council. Please and thank you. Councilman Box.
Thank you, Council President. Well, welcome, everybody. I think we can kind of see maybe what direction the night's going to go. I brought the hat just for a moment, though. The naughty and nice list is ever present. You can say what you need. You can even present yourself how you need, but be respectful. Number one, we need to be respectful to you citizens. And number two, the citizens need to respect the officers. You may not like the person, but respect the office. And then we up here need to make sure we respect you guys. It has to be a circle of service. Individual personalities, they're fine. Passion is a great thing, but misapplied passion can do more harm than good. Couple of things to say. Can't thank our police and fire enough. They do amazing stuff. Our abatement board is still working to keep our city cleaned up. I'm encouraging my neighborhoods now to not only have their own neighborhood meetings, but start having meetings together. I think that's something that we do. Psalms 133, and for those of you that don't like for me to preach, I'm sorry. But Psalms 133 says how beautiful it is when brothers and sisters dwell together in unity. That's when you can really get things done. You know, you don't have to agree with each other, but you can find common ground and win from common ground for their overall good. Last thing I will cover is I did look through some of the things of the audit. There was some issues that were alluded to that may not have actually been completely factually covered or may have been stressed a little bit more than they actually were. One of the issues was that during the course of it, some of the things may have lagged behind in their posting simply to other workloads. We have to remember that our wonderful employees here have many other things to do than just data entry and codes. The great thing is they catch those code entries that are wrong and readjust them. Then we also had one thing about the audit where the auditors basically gave us some information for areas for improvement, but information for areas for improvement are not what we call in the military, and Councilman Sigsbee this week, it's not a gig on your inspection. You get a gig on your inspection, you're gonna do push-ups, you're gonna run laps, you're gonna clean the toilet with a toothbrush. But these things the auditors brought out for us were simply things where giving us information to maybe make things a little bit better. But remember this too, the auditors aren't there for our day-to-day operations. And with that, there'll be more forthcoming from our city clerk. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes, Council President Spivey, thank you so much. Good evening, and thank you to everyone for joining us at our council meeting. I would like to thank my District 3 constituents and Irondale residents who contacted me regarding the 2 latest posts I made on my District 3 Facebook page to express your concerns regarding the excessive spending that continues in our city. As I've stated publicly and to the media that have contacted me, I consider my fiduciary responsibility sacred. I must look out for the best interest of our city and you, our citizens. Therefore, after reviewing our audit report, I must state unequivocally here tonight that we must curb excessive spending and practice fiscal responsibility as well as accurate reporting in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. I hold this position because we have increased from $45 million in long-term debt when we were sworn into office on November 2nd, 2020, to $114 million after less than 5 years in office. It's in this audit report. I hold this position because 153% in long-term debt is excessive and it is dangerous. If you calculate this per capita for everyone who lives in Irondale, it is $8,444 for everyone that lives in this city. Whether you're a child or whether you're an adult, everyone, or $16,888 for a couple. This concerning part about all this debt is that most of it is associated with non-revenue producing investments. It's doubtful that we'll be able to recover this return on investment. Growing our debt to 153% in less than 5 years raises concern to me, and it should to every citizen of this city. What if the economy reverses or goes through financial strain? History demonstrates that many municipalities do not recover sufficiently in such conditions. Some have gone bankrupt, Fairfield being one of the most recent ones. Furthermore, the council has not been able to discuss the city's finances during a finance committee meeting with our mayor and the city clerk in over 3.5 years. And when we recently asked our mayor to simply meet with us to discuss the city's finances during a finance committee meeting, he declined our invitation and did not allow our city clerk to meet with us. Regardless of what date he told us, your request has been denied. Ladies and gentlemen, when we don't receive the necessary information and our questions remain unanswered in a finance committee meeting, I have grave concerns. When we prioritize non-essential expenditures over our essential needs, such as maintaining sufficient funds in our general fund to pay the salaries of our essential personnel, including police and firefighters who provide for our public safety, I have grave concerns. It is time to pause these non-essential expenditures for 2 to 3 months to give us a clearer idea of our actual expenditures over this time frame. Now is not the time to guess. Gentlemen, we are aware from our recent audit report that we have a deficiency in internal control, which our auditors consider to be a material weakness. It's right here, last paragraph. Material weakness is a serious matter for those who are CPAs, for those who are finance majors and educated in that. It is a serious matter, and we need to address these matters. We need to know what processes we intend to put in place to address this. When the audit talks about another concern, and I'll read it, our test disclosed an instance of non-compliance or other matter that is required to be reported under government auditing standards, and which is described in the accompanying schedule of findings and responses as item 24-002. 24-002 is page 94 of the audit. And that concerns expenditures and intertransfers that should be reflected in the city's amended budget. They should be, but they're not. During the audit, we noted that expenditures and operating transfers from the city's general fund were in excess of final budgeted items. It's not a small amount that they're talking about. It's in excess. This is excessive amount. Over a million. That's excessive. And it's because we are not, as a council, demanding that we get updates. We should be receiving balance sheets. We should be receiving reconciliation, these reconciliation items. I have had to sponsor resolutions to get bank statements, to get a monthly report of actual versus budgeted items. I should not have to ask for this through a resolution. That should be a given. A council member should make this request, and it should be provided because it is our responsibility to look at these and examine them. That is transparency, ladies and gentlemen. And so tonight, let me be clear, I stand by what I said. It was not inaccurate information. It is based on this audit report, which we did not have a chance to even review before our council meeting on May 20th. And it's why I had concerns. When we have a budget presented to us for approval in 2024 to begin fiscal year 2025, and it's showing over $3 million in a surplus, I objected to that. I said, I've got concerns about the line item variances here. It's going to impact the bottom line. I'm not comfortable with this. We have not had a chance to discuss this and thoroughly cover it. And Councilman Bach said, well, how about if we had a mid-year review budget? Would you be okay with that? I said, absolutely. I'll be fine with that. As long as we get a mid-year budget review. We've never had one since we were sworn into office. We finally had one. And when we finally had it, that over $3 million surplus was showing $444,000. So from over 300,000 to 444. And the main concern for me were three items were under budgeted in the expenditures, which concerns our employees. They are essential. These other expenditures are not essential, but our employees are essential. And we need to make sure that we have adequate funds to take care of them over the next 6 months. So we need to pause, gentlemen. I am asking you, please pause on these non-essential expenditures for 2 to 3 months so that we can look at where we stand after these 2 to 3 months and then proceed. But I still am not comfortable with a $444,000 surplus when I am showing that when you account these increases that need to be made in the salaries for our police and our firefighters, I'm showing a $642,000 deficit. Those are essential. Council President Spivey, thank you very much for your time. This concludes my report. One more thing I did want to note. In the audit, I brought this up before, and it's on this mid-year budget review that you approved. The auditor said, and I had brought this point out, it was not only Rebuild Alabama, but it was the opioid settlement. Those funds cannot be included in the general fund. We are violating the law when we do that. And they are included in this 2025 revised general fund. I'm giving you the page, copies of the page, so that you can see it for yourself, gentlemen. I'll read it. During the year ended September 30th.
Councilwoman McCrary, you did conclude your report. I allowed you to go
All right,
on.
that's fine.
Thank you.
We need to make that change. We need to make that notation. It cannot be in the
I
general
think some of
fund.
us will disagree with your findings, but thank you very much. Councilman John London, your report, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. My wife told me to be nice, so I will. I've been married for 38 years for nothing. But I do have a few things. The Run Pain is holding a free football camp on June the 16th at Shays Valley High School. Registration begins at 8 a.m. Camp starts at 9 and goes from 9 o'clock to 12 p.m. That's the Ron Payne who played at Shays Valley, who's playing for the Washington No Names Commanders or whatever name. You know, I'm old school Redskins. They playing for them. Played at University of Alabama. Great young man. Just a great guy, great family. But he's having a free football camp on June the 16th at Shays Valley High School. Also, I want to congratulate all the Shays Valley graduates. I know our Councilman Sims has won. I think he told me 3 down and 3 to go.
3 down, 3 to go.
3 down, and 3 to go. Just want to congratulate them, and I just want to my message to all the graduates to go make yourself proud. And good luck. You know that your city backs you, no matter where you attend college, or if you don't attend college, wherever you are, your city backs you. And then also a shout out to our Holiday Gardens Neighborhood Association. I don't know if I ever said this, but man, I appreciate. I think we got one of the best neighborhood association in the city of Irondale, and yeah. And our leadership has been great. And so if you live in Holiday Gardens, District 1, District 5, either one, come on out and be part of Holiday Garden Neighborhood Association. And we have a great one, and we've got a few of the members here that they do a lot of work behind the scene that you see them at the market, volunteering and doing different things. So I just want to shout out the neighborhood that I live in, Holiday Gardens Neighborhood Association, which we meet next Tuesday, correct, at 6:30. At the senior citizen, so we just want to shout out to them. And Aaron Sims, Councilman Sims, you said it all. I'm gonna be nice. I'm going to say this few things. Misrepresenting the facts can be dangerous. I love the topic. I love the title, and you're exactly right. You misrepresent Jesus, could be dangerous. You misrepresent the people of Irondale that we represent, can be dangerous. It really can. It really can be dangerous. You know, and so great campaign speech, a little too early.
What election?
It really was a great campaign speech. 2 to 3 months, in 2 to 3 months, this election, I got that. But when you misrepresent the people of Irondale, it can be very dangerous. And telling some of the truth, it's a lot. Telling some of the truth, it's a lot. 100%. It's a lot. You know, all the good things that we have in this city going on. I've been in this city a long time. My wife been in this city 55 years, her family. 55 years. And the first new building we got, new library, Publix, those things, in 55 years. And for you, a person can go on the news and not be happy about that. It's just like misrepresenting your own household. I've never seen anybody who would destroy the place that they live in. It's just like going to my house and tell my wife and kids, get out. You know, we're gonna tear up this house. I've never understand that. This should be an exciting time. And I know we got our doubters. You know, I saw you on the news talking about ICE and all that. You know, that's hatred. That's hatred.
No, it isn't.
That's not love. God said, do everything that we do it in love. Whether you scream it out, talk real low, or you wave your hand. Whatever you do it in love. And I promise you, when I do it in love, you can't argue against love. Cannot. You cannot argue against love. So what I do it in love. I may not agree with you. And I hope you don't agree with everything that I do. And I hope when you don't, we have a disagreement, you have the guts to come and have a man-to-man conversation or man and woman conversation. So we can agree to disagree, or you may find out, hey, you know what? You have a new perspective. Or I may say, you have a new perspective. We can agree with that. But to destroy a city that we live in is misrepresentation of the city, and it can be dangerous. I hope I did that in love. And if my wife, if you watching, I hope I. Thank you, Council President.
Often I would refer to the mayor in these moments, but with his absence tonight, I'm going to go to the next one in charge, which would be our illustrious city clerk. So, Ms. Leanne, do you have anything to report or any observations?
Yes, I'd like to read a statement.
Is your mic on?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
In light of recent media reports and public statements by Councilor Cuellar, I feel compelled as city clerk and treasurer to directly address the false narrative being promoted about the city's financial condition. The continued spread of misinformation is not only misleading to the public, but it also wrongly questions the competence and integrity of those of us charged with safeguarding public resources. Let me be clear, Irondale's finances are in good condition and the city is being managed responsibly. We currently maintain a double A credit rating, which is a direct reflection of the city's financial strength and ability to meet obligations. This rating is one of the most reliable indicators of a city's fiscal health. In addition, the City of Irondale's audited financial statements for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2024, received an unmodified opinion from the city's independent audit firm, BMSS. This means our financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position and results of operations of the city in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. An unmodified opinion is the highest level of assurance an independent auditor can provide and confirms that our financial statements are free from material misstatement. It is clear from the city's recent audit that the city is operating in a financially responsible manner. All significant financial transactions, including the approval of bills and budgeted allocations, are subject to council review and vote. Expenditures and payments are submitted to the city council for approval at every council meeting. This process ensures that no major spending occurs without council knowledge and consent. The debt referenced in recent comments from Councilor Cuellar is tied to capital improvement projects, essential council-approved investments in Irondale's future. In March of 2022, the city held a special election to increase property taxes to fund these capital improvements. Irondale voters overwhelmingly voted yes to this increase because they wanted to see the city move forward with these capital improvements. Councilor Cuellar's comments allege that the city has $114 million of long-term debt. This statement is factually incorrect. The city has $62,205,000 in long-term debt. Any long-term debt above that number was taken out by a separately incorporated governmental entity, the Public Building Authority of the City of Irondale. The long-term debt of the Public Building Authority is not the long-term debt of the city. However, Councilor Cuellar has provided misinformation to the public that the PBA's debt is the city's debt, and it is not. No capital project to date in this administration has had cost overruns above the bid amount accepted and approved by City Council. Every city expenditure has been reviewed and approved by the City Council. The implication that the mayor or any city employees or officials are spending money unchecked is simply false. As city clerk treasurer, I must also address the deeply troubling insinuations by Councilor Cuellar that there may be fraud, misconduct, or nefarious activity in our office. These kinds of accusations are not only unfounded, they are offensive to me personally and to the dedicated, hardworking professionals on my staff. To question our ethics without any evidence is irresponsible and does a disservice to the public we serve. Irondale's residents deserve facts, not fear-mongering. I invite all members of the public to review our financial reports, attend council meetings, and reach out directly to my office with any questions or concerns. Our team remains committed to transparency, accountability, and responsible stewardship of public funds. Thank you, Council President Spivey. Thank you.
We'll go ahead and move into the next portion of our agenda, which is about public comments to the council on non-agenda items. So that being said, if you have an agenda that has stuff on it, this is not that time. I will be monitoring a 2-minute clock, so I will do my best to not interrupt you. I will allow you to settle into the podium before I begin the ticker. I would say, above all else, please remain respectful to the position if any comments are directed in a particular manner, and I ask that decorum is maintained. Speak your piece, but please maintain all decency. Yes, ma'am.
Terry Johnson, 1504 Monticello Road. Again, it is absolutely dumbfounding that a public servant would rather drag the city and its name through the mud with unfounded accusations because of her disdain for the mayor. But my comments this evening are to address 3 specific lies told to the media in an interview yesterday on WVTM with Councilor Cuellar and Sandra Lauriello. Lie 1, quote, he wants to spend money without thinking about the long-term consequences. Truth, on multiple very public occasions, the mayor has laid out precise plans for funding and revenue. You can download the PDFs from the website or watch the meetings on YouTube, since I don't recall Councilor Cuellar at the budget town hall. Lie 2, quote, I have asked for him to break this down. Give me a line item. Tell me how much you're spending. We're not getting that information. Truth, as you just heard the clerk say, anyone can view the council packets and see the supporting documentation outlining specifics for expenditures attached to each agenda. It's all public information. As a council member, I guarantee you're more privy to more detailed information than the general public. Just because you don't get it in the format you want doesn't mean that you aren't getting the information. You can't always get what you want, but sometimes if you try, you just might find you get what you need. Lie 3, quote, they're even giving money to this group that goes around the state of Alabama telling people how to avoid ICE. Truth, the Hispanic and Immigrant Center of Alabama's Citizenship and Immigration Program gives access to low-cost and legal information and naturalization services for low-income immigrants seeking to apply for citizenship or humanitarian visas. This assertion, made in reference to the City of Irondale spending to support services provided to its citizens, is perhaps one of the most vile racist comments that I have ever heard. You as an elected official should be ashamed for even allowing such hate to be associated with Irondale. You as a Hispanic should be even more revolted at the blatant contempt for an entire culture. Shame on you and shame on Sandra Lauriello. And FYI, cities don't abide by GAAP, they're GSAB.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Pamela Holloway. My address is 632 Parkview Drive, Birmingham, Alabama. I am an administrative assistant here at the City of Arundel. I am responsible for preparing Mayor Stewart's Truist P card report every month. I would like to ask the city councilors if you would give me an opportunity to respond to your questions concerning the mayor's P card prior to asking your questions at the city council meetings on Tuesdays. Please forward any questions you have to my supervisor, Lee Allison, no later than Mondays prior to the council meetings. I assure you that I will get your questions answered and issues resolved before the Tuesday meeting. I would like for us to work together as a team and start being proactive instead of reactive. I would appreciate it if you would give me this opportunity going forward. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
John Bavona, retired engineer, 1296 Shades Terrace. The Civic Center construction contract has a bid opening soon. In reviewing the plans, it has similarities with the Ruffner Ballpark contract. Recall the Ruffner Ballpark construction contract low bid at $7.48 million, but as I addressed the council before, the contract did not include three high-cost items: turf fields, lighting, and playground equipment. All three went direct to vendors via three resolutions, bringing the true cost of the ballpark to about $9 million. That's not how public projects should be bid, as taxpayers lost the savings through competition in one total bid. Now the Civic Center, budgeted at $18 million, is out for bid, having contractors submit a base bid plus bids on 10 add-on features of work called alternatives. So when the successful bid is announced, if it reflects only the base bid, then it is not the true cost of the Civic Center, and it will be higher due to change orders for up to 10 features of added work. Look at your handout for these 10. It shows pickleball courts, splash pads as additives. Why? These 10 additional work items, some, if not all, are necessary for the project and should be required in bid submittal for award. I have the answer, but you won't give me time to explain, and the future high O&M costs were never addressed.
Thanks, sir. Do we have any other comments on non-agenda? Yes, sir.
I can't argue with you there. All right, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Let's go.
My name is Wendell Harless. I live at 4403 Little River Road. That is a townhome in a building, one building with four townhome units in it. On the night of May the 21st, a fire started in the unit next to me and quickly spread throughout the building. Those buildings, that building was built in the 70s, so there was no firewall in the roof, so the fire spread quickly. While I am not a firefighter, I feel like I can speak with some authority in that I've spent 53 years working with fire departments in the fire equipment industry, and I have responded on some fires. Many years ago, we used to be able to do that. They can't do it anymore. I have been present when fire departments have arrived at the scene of a fire. I would like to say that when the Irondale Fire Department arrived at this fire, they were professional, efficient, well-trained. I mean, they were just did exactly what they were supposed to do, did it well. I can't talk too highly about them. They just did a wonderful job. Also, I would like to say, and let me say this, that I learned later that the fire 911 notified the fire department that there was a deck fire, which is normally just a little nothing. And they arrived and there's fire coming through the roof. So that normally would lead to an enormous amount of chaos, which we didn't see the chaos. But also, the fire department was most accommodating. They went overboard we had 4 families that were lost our homes or were losing our homes. And the fire department went overboard to accommodate us. And I am just so thankful for this fire department in every way. And of course, I know a lot of y'all already know this, I'm sure, but I'm sure the citizens of Irondale don't know what a wonderful fire department they have. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm glad that your family was safe. Do we have there was a young lady coming up. We have,
Any more old people? Okay, Councilman London, you were talking about Christian love and everything. We just had crucifixion, and I don't think our Lord was crucified then. But anyway, we see this side of Councilman Quayle. I'm going to present to you another side. In 2021, Councilman Quayle was at a Mexican restaurant in Moody, and she was with some friends. The food was excellent. So she asked one of the waiters if the manager and was the owner. And he said, yes. He said, I would like to speak with him. So he came over and she said, I am a counselor in Irondale. We would love to have your restaurant in our city. And she said, we just love your food. Said, everyone at this table has enjoyed your food. So they exchanged cards, and she said, we have Publix coming to our town, and it's going to be a public strip mall. So she gave him the information, where to go, what to do. So he said, well, she said, I will meet you there. And he said, well, we're real busy here, and I cannot tell you what my schedule will be. Said, I will go look at it myself. So Cindy gave him a week to check things out. So she called him, and he said, yes, it's everything you said it would be. It's wonderful. I'm very interested. He said, in fact, I contact the realtor now. I want to sign the contract, and yes, I'm coming down. So we have a Mexican restaurant open this week or next week. We'll see. Okay? All because she enjoyed food. She was bold enough to speak up. I like you come to my home. So that's it.
I see we have a line forming. Any other comments on non-agenda items? Come on.
My name is Frida Williams, 5178 Cornell Drive, and I'm just here in support of the mayor. Since he's been our mayor, we've had so much positive energy. I appreciate how he runs his administration. I have no problems, no doubts. He's a human, so he might make a mistake every now and then, but he's human. But I support him, and he's a man of God and a family man, and that's what I love about him. And he will take the time to call you if you need him. I know personally. So we don't need all that negativity. We need to be positive because we're all trying to work for the same goal. And with that, I support Mayor James Douglas Stewart Jr. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John, for the shout out for Holiday Gardens. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Sharon McClure. I live at 5346 Disland Road. And I hate the mayor's not here tonight. I came to personally thank him for the progress and the growth of the city. My kids grew up here. I have adult kids now. They played ball in the park. And now my grandkids are playing ball in the same park. But guess what? It's more advanced now. It's beautiful now. I don't have red dirt in my car every day going home. I used to meet in the library in the back room because I was a baller mom during that time. And now I'm looking forward to meeting in the new library. I want to go in there to the new library and all the nicer rooms and explore that. You know, Mayor Stewart has done so much. I am so proud to say I live in Irondale. I was very disappointed when I saw that news and someone was just terribly talking bad about our city. And I thought that was just so uncalled for, because majority of the citizens here, we love it here. And we don't want outsiders thinking we're racist or we are just mismanaging, because Mayor Stewart's doing a great job. And I want, Ms. Stewart, please tell him I said personally, thank you. I mean that. You know, on these Facebook posts, I try to make comments and keep them simple. Someone see my name. Someone actually started talking about my brother. And they like, why? Why? What's the point of that? He could speak for himself. Yes, I'm Sharon McClure, Mike McClure's sister. And yes, he's a chaplain for the city. I didn't hire him, but please, please let me post something I want to post without saying that's his sister, because I was living here before him, and I love it here. I've been here almost 30 years. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Carolyn Jones, 5201 Starlight Drive. I just wanted to come to let most of the council know that I totally support your intelligence, your abilities. I support the mayor. I'm sure he has an ability to know how to run this city. And y'all doing a really good job. And also to our city clerk. Your methods may not be like somebody else's method, but I know your method is working. And I want everybody to know I'm very proud. I've been in Irondale 42 years. Never seen this kind of progress. So you guys are doing a good job. The other item is, as a member of the Irondale Community Foundation, we provide hot dogs for all of movie nights. And we support other activities in the city. So they're just not freeing out the money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheila Lewis, 5209 Cornell Drive, and I'm a longtime resident of Irondale. I'm proud of the accomplishments that have taken place in the city under this present administration. Human nature and civic engagement is to question how tax dollars are being spent. With that being said, there's a saying, trust but verify. Once all questions have been answered and misinformation debunked, then admit, accept, and move on. Otherwise, you're fueling divisiveness. Another saying is, a house divided cannot stand. But this house, this community, this city is not only standing, but thriving. Again, trust, verify, admit, accept, move on, and love, pride in the community in which you have chosen to live and have your business.
Trey Hawkins, 3728 Villa Drive. These comments are District 3. These comments are addressed to my council member. I think the campaign of misinformation has been addressed by by the other speakers, though I would add your complaints about the BZA appointment were insulting to Heather Flaherty, the woman that was appointed to the BZA 5 weeks ago. But I'm going to focus on another troublesome aspect I've seen Councilman Member Cuellar displaying from the dais. We're all used to your condescending treatment of the mayor and your council colleagues. They have the power to respond. However, the contempt you demonstrate towards city employees and outsiders working for the city is unacceptable. 2 recent examples occurred at the same council meeting. I was raised by a stepfather that worked for the Dothan Fire Department for 32 years, and I grew up in a neighborhood of police officers, firemen, and city employees. So your characterization at that meeting of the E911 dispatchers serving Irondale as people who answer phones was disgusting. That position requires sensitivity, toughness, compassion, and a knowledge of human psychology. They must be diplomats, detail-oriented managers, and sometimes that's in the face of absolute chaos. They frequently experience horrible things over those phone lines that leave scars on their soul, and pretending that they just answer phones to score political points is awful. Your treatment of the young man that was conducting the Irondale audit was dreadful. You belittled his answers, implied something nefarious was going on. He wasn't an executive. He was an associate sent by that firm to do this job because he had the intimate knowledge of the financials. He's a CPA bound by a code of ethics and certainly would not jeopardize his license, firm, or career by participating in a fraud. Yet that's the impression you were trying to sell, then and now. He deserves praise. He remained patient and calm throughout the discussion. Either way, it was a horrible look to have an Irondale official treat him so terribly. And finally, the recent developments are even worse. We have a woman here with a long history of service to this city, fourth generation Irondale, and you're calling her integrity into question.
Bring it to a close.
I'm looking forward to the coming election and hope that my district, District 3, chooses another person to occupy that chair.
Sandra Loriella, 5732 Bell Ridge Trail, and I'm proud of what I said on the TV show. I wasn't expecting to be on there, but every time I come to one of these meetings, it's like Christmas in Irondale. Handing out 50,000 here, 40,000. I've never seen nothing like it. And regarding that organization we gave money to, they do advertise all over Alabama. If you have cops coming after you, this is the number you call. This is where you go. I don't have nothing against people coming here illegally. My grandparents did, Ellis Island. But what the crap's going on in this country right now, wake up. And I'm wondering, how much money are we giving out tonight? Because it never ends. And Miss Cuellar was right with what she said. We're in debt really bad.
I'm Mary Scherer, 5276 Amber Hills Road.
Point of order,
We
please.
need to let this room needs to settle a little bit. Please.
I had some questions on the audit, which we didn't really get to address them. So I have a couple of things. On page 94, which is the end of the audit, there was 2 items that were issued. One was the deficiencies in internal control, and the auditor had to make material adjustments to the accounting, to the balance sheet. Now, when I requested back in December to get the balance sheet for the end of the year closing, I did receive it, and I did see some large dollar items on there, which maybe if the council had looked at them, and I know I had asked some questions about what are these items, that this could have been avoided. So I'm suggesting that the council receive the balance sheet report. It's a standard financial report. Receive those in their monthly packet. They have another item, but I think you can't get it in my 2 minutes. So I'm going to go on to something else. I'll get back next time. I noticed on page 22 of the audit, the balances of the PBA are stated. The monies that were borrowed that are for the $17 million warrants and the $43 million, and that's approximate, that is for the Civic Center, the library, and municipal complex. When I saw that, the capital projects for the other projects, the fire department, the water building, and the public works building, that was $17 million. And in that, the balance is $9.7 million, and then it was adjusted downward $2.8 million. And it shows that it was through due to other funds. That's a balance sheet account, by the way. The total funds available in that account now are $6.9 million as of September 30th. So we have a fire department getting ready to go under construction, and as of September 30th, $6.9 million. And I don't really think, we need to figure out what happened there, but I think it's actually just crossed with another account. And it would be the PBA funds. So if someone would take a look at that, I think that's where the money is sitting. It just was crossed. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Sergey Kilich, 1319 Marion Drive. Counselor Sims, you mentioned in your opening report that imitation is the greatest form of flattery. I disagree. I think it's the laziest form of creation. Counselor Cuellar and all of y'all, in a week's time, will have to go to your constituents and explain to them why you are the best one to be reelected to that chair. And you have to list out your accomplishments. And unfortunately for Councilwoman Cuellar, her accomplishments start and end with her election 5 years ago. And unfortunately for her again, she's trying to make a mad dash to try to seem as if she's trying to get something done at the expense of the city. That's why she invited these news crews here. That's why she gave that article or that interview yesterday. That's why she's pulling all these stunts just to drive this city down. She mentions Fairfield and how she doesn't want us to end up like Fairfield. It's really unfortunate because part of me, unfortunately, thinks that she does want us to end up like Fairfield so she can be the victor in this. And so in a couple months, when all the dust is settled, I really hope that District 3 makes the right choice. Thank you.
Scott Lewis. I'm at 5189 Cornell Drive. We have like half of Cornell out here. That's awesome. I think everybody's covered what I was going to say already. Terry, Trey. Say what? Say it again. I'm sorry. Everybody's covered what I wanted to say between Terry and Trey, Councilman Sims, Councilman London. Really, to Councilwoman Cuellar, this isn't acceptable. This is rough. This is terrible. We know that you don't agree with this stuff. Like, we get it. You show it time and time again over social media. You throw out your accusations. You ask your questions, which are really just leading accusations. Shut off comments so nobody can respond to you and move on. And that is a great political tactic on a national level. But this is a local level. This is us. You're pitting us against us. That's unacceptable. I don't agree with everything the mayor does. I don't agree with everything my council person decides on. But I know for a fact that they're doing it with all of us in mind, not just his area's property taxes, not just the mayor's personal goals, but everybody's. We're not all going to win. Sometimes we're going to lose. And like somebody else said, once you get the answers that you're asking, accept it. Accept the accountability and move on. And that's all I have to say.
My name is Judy Wilson, 3510 Belmont Road. My husband's name is James D. Wilson. He's retired from the Air Force, 25 years. My father was in World War II. This flag was given to my mother when he died. If you've ever been in the military, when you die, you won't receive it. Your family will receive it. And it's a memorial. Just like we just had Memorial Day, it wasn't Veterans Day, it was Memorial Day. That is for those who died for you, for the scum of the earth sometimes, but they died for us, okay? Why on earth do you want to spend all this time fighting back and forth when they were losing body parts, having their best buddies shot to bits over and over? And I want to read you something. This is from the Gettysburg Address. You know who wrote that, or who wrote it, and who gave it? Who? Lincoln. Okay, this is just part of it. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall not have died in vain, that this nation shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. That's what you call a republic. We are the republic. We pledged allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. May I make one thing?
Wrap it up.
I need to make this clear. When that young auditor was here, Councilman Box opened up the floor. Are there any questions? Nobody said anything, so I thought, well, I will ask a question. So I stood up, and having heard what went on and what the mayor had said and everybody had said, and I said, okay, this was not Council Lady Cuellar.
Thank you, Miss Judy. I can tell this is going to go on a little longer
No,
than.
it's quite short.
No,
She
I
is
have
not
to
the
be.
one-
I have to be fair here, and I've kept everybody to a 2 minute. I'm
Do you
going to
want
do you
truth?
this.
Do you
I
want
want
truth?
to be consistent.
I'm consistent.
So I will not be consistent.
Okay, would you ask?
I'm asking. I'm
Councilman
asking.
Box? Ask Councilman Box.
We can talk about this offline. Thank you, Miss Judy.
She didn't say it. I said.
I didn't insult the auditor. It's an outright lie.
My name is Gretchen Thiel. I live across the tracks. The money that's been spent in the last few years, since I moved here 3 years ago, 4 years ago maybe, has, for the most part, and all pretty much, for the most part, been spent on things that are going to last 50 years. And so if Ms. Cuellar becomes mayor, she will not really have much to do because everything that has been spent and built are things that are self-sustaining and self-entertaining. And people can use the canoe launches, they can use the dog park, they can use the baseball park. There's so much that's going to be used for 50 or more years. So good luck on your election, Ms. Cuellar. Thank you.
Michelle Barclay, 1118 Carl Daly Trace. I'm going to agree with Ms. Laurella's comments that it feels like Christmas every morning in Irondale, but I think I'm going to disagree with the perspective as to why. I do feel like it's Christmas every day. I get to go to Publix that's only 1 mile down the street from my house, and that feels like Christmas when you need something at night for 5 kids. I appreciate all the intentionality that's going into the infrastructure for Irondale because we do have 5 kids that are being raised here. And I'm sorry, Ms. Cuellar, if you don't think that we're worth it, but I think my kids are worth $8,444 apiece. I appreciate all the employees. I think all the communication that I've had, just as a basic resident, has been answered in appropriate manner. And I don't understand the disdain. I would love to try and understand your perspective. I don't believe I've been given an avenue to do that. I don't think it's an open, transparent thing coming from you. But I do think a lot of us are pitted together, against each other. And I have made friends with people that I disagree on almost every issue, but we can sit down and have a conversation about Irondale, and it's a positive one. Judy Wilson and I disagree on a whole bunch of stuff on Facebook, but we've agreed to get to know each other. It doesn't mean we have to hate one another. We all want Irondale to succeed, but we can't do that if somebody in the leadership role is tearing us down. So with all due respect, we do want to hear your side, but maybe take a different approach because grandstanding in front of a news camera or just the time that we get here is not enough. We love Irondale. I know you love Irondale. You have passion for it, but maybe try a different method. Thank you.
Carter Dukes, 3108 Carl Daly Road.
I had some different remarks that I had planned on giving, but I guess I'm a sucker for supporting the underdog, and I don't like how everyone has jumped on Ms. Quaylaw. It takes courage to speak truth to power, and it takes courage to point out irregularities in our financial documents. And all of this could have been resolved if the mayor would meet with the council about these things, but he refuses to do so. Let me point out some facts, Mr. Sims. Irondale has a debt per capita of approximately $8,500. And the city just last week filed a pleading in circuit court saying that the debt was $99 million. Under oath, they stated that. So to say that our debt is only 60 million or 50 million is wrong. The Calera population, 16,494, has a debt per capita of 2,542. Columbiana, population of 4,800, has a debt per capita of 2,951. Coleman, population of 18,900, has a debt per capita of 3,000.
Point of
Let's
order.
let the man speak. Thank you.
Alabama, if I'm saying anything wrong, so incorrect, and I dare you to prove me wrong. Alabaster, who has a school system, we don't even have a school system, with a population of 34,000, has a debt per capita of just a little over $1,000. So it is dangerous. Yes, it is dangerous. We are destroying our house. We are destroying our family. We are doing something that is so much worse in that we are forcing our children and our grandchildren and their children to pay for our debts. And that is a travesty and dangerous.
Do we have any more? Okay, we have one more comment on non-agenda items.
Good evening. My name is Lieutenant Jason Hill, and of course, I'm not a resident, but I've been an employee here for 21 years. I wanted to basically speak on two things: messaging and community partnerships. Messaging in my line of work is very crucial. We have to be accurate. It matters to be accurate. It matters to be right, not the second, third, fourth time, but we're judged on being right the first time. And I get that, and I accept that scrutiny. So I would like to challenge the council in messaging, hey, let's be accurate, let's be right. Second thing, and second point I would like to kind of talk on is community partnerships. I came to Irondale either in 2003 or 2004. I would have to go back and look. But when I first came here, one of the things that I really, really enjoyed about Irondale was while on duty, I could patrol and I could go to Ruffner Park and I could see kids playing and there'd be life inside of Irondale. And you know what? That happened the first year. And after the first year, there was no more kids playing at Ruffner Park. There was no more football. There was no more baseball. There was no more softball. And it just began to wither up and dry up. And so I just want to challenge the council and the mayor, whether it's this year, 5 years from now, 15 years from now, when I'm long gone, I would like for you as a council, as the future mayor, the future council, to continue to invest in our community. And I'm going to say our community. Yes, I don't live here. But ask my wife, I spend more time here than probably most people that live here. But you know what? I love the city of Iredale. You know, some of us, our loyalty and our love for Irondale was put into question because it was the money. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here, and council, I'm here to tell you that for a long time, I was a detective, an investigator, and I was on call with no compensation for years. So please don't judge some of us employees that are just here for the money. We're here because we love actually what we do. We love the people that we serve.
Thank you, sir.
Last, and I would like to just mention
Quickly.
Lieutenant Meadows. Lieutenant Meadows was tragically killed and taken from us. It's because of the relationships that I made that got me through a horrible, horrible situation of losing my friend. And it's because of the relationships that I've made because of my love for Irondale. And it's because of the love that they showed me and showed our department and showed our city that we actually got through. And Miss Carolyn and Miss Sheila, you don't know how much you got me through one of the most difficult things in my career. But I love Irondale, and I'm in it for the long haul.
Thank you, sir. You've spoken once already, correct?
Yes.
You've spoken once already, correct? Okay, you feel free to save your any remaining comments for any agenda items that we have.
Well, I knew if I spoke this, I would not have time with 2 minutes. I cannot speak again.
No, we allow one opportunity to speak during the particular times to speak. Thank you. Do we have any other comments? Yes. Okay.
There
you go.
Vaughn Barclay, 1118 Carl Daly Trace. I want to start off by saying thank you from most of us to the City of Irondale, to the City of Irondale employees, our first responders, everyone involved in making this operate day in, day out. They do a tremendous job. They're very quick to respond, as we've heard, our first responders, and our city is too, to give information and share information. We appreciate that from City Council as well. To speak to some things that have come up tonight, starting with Ms. Quaylar's report. I know you're under no obligation to answer me, but have you spent any time researching Fairfield as compared to Irondale, or Fairfield's collapse, saying that they haven't had a population growth in any census since 1960. It's declined 70%, still continuing today. Irondale, by contrast, since 2015, has doubled our per capita income per person. Okay? Speaking of that, that's what our tax base is built off of. So we're doing better as a city than many other cities, including those named earlier. We, whoever that was that listed off Columbiana, Alabaster, Calera, talking about those cities and what they have and what we don't have a per capita income of more than 25% less to Columbiana, which is less than half of ours, and lower than ours in 2015, which we've doubled. We have more income coming out of Irondale. Irondale is a growing city with a lot of options because of things that have happened here and things that the city council, this government, and previous governments have set up. We are growing, unlike most of these other places.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Donna Pike, and I live at 440 East Ventura Drive. And if I heard the city clerk correctly, the $60 million that the PBA borrowed, that who is going to be paying that back? And it's my understanding that we, the citizens, are going to be paying this back. And so, you know, when she said the PBA money is not a part of the city, then I'm confused because I thought the citizens would have to pay it back because we borrowed it for the city.
Feel free to continue your statement.
I'm sorry?
Feel free to continue your statement.
Well, I just, you know, I'm confused and I would like to have clarification on that. I think the city the citizens here deserve an explanation, because either we owe it, either we borrowed it and we owe it, or we don't. And so if we borrowed it, somebody's got to pay it back. Am I right?
Yes. It will come out of the city's general fund. The
Do we
city
have any other
services the
comments?
debt.
I appreciate your clarification. Do we have any other comments on any non-agenda items? Are we ready to move forward? All right, let's go.
Council President, just one, we have our board member, Ms. Stephanie Flores, sitting right there in the front row. Just want to acknowledge that she's in the building.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning. How you doing? It's been a while since I've seen you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
So I heard Stephanie Floyd, Vice President of Jefferson County's Board of Education. I'm really glad to be here this evening, and thank you for the acknowledgement. Irondale has some tremendous schools within our school system, of which they are part of Jefferson County, which is the second largest school district in the state. And we have the National Superintendent of the Year, who is bringing astronomical changes to the city, of which Irondale is going to be able to benefit from. So I just wanted to make sure that you all were aware of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Since we've transitioned to any reports or boards or of non-council committees, do we have any other reports from any other boards or non-council committees or any other department heads for that matter? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Catherine Hogwood, 1314 Creekside Glen. I'm the current chair of the Commercial Development Authority, the CDA, and I wanted to make sure and let everyone know that we do have a vacancy that's been posted, and interviews will be conducted before our next city council meeting. It's the 17th, June 17th. So I want to encourage people to apply. This will be a short term because it's the balance of someone that resigned for moving out of the city. So it'll just be from now and from June until March of next year. So I would encourage you to consider applying. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other reports from department heads, boards, or non-council committees? All right, fair enough. Moving on. We'll go ahead and get into the deliberation piece of tonight's agenda. We've got a proposed consent agenda with 4 items, and then we move into our regular agenda. Item number 1 on the proposed consent would be resolved that Resolution 2025-R-76-A authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to execute a service agreement with Jefferson County Greenway Commission, aka FKA, Ruffner Mountain Nature Coalition, in the amount of $50,000 for the provision of recreational opportunities and community benefit to the citizens of Irondale through the protection and restoration of Ruffner Mountain. So one thing I want to point out, we've had this conversation before when R76 was originally presented to us. You'll notice that there's an A there. That usually means an amendment of some sort. The amendment is literally the word commission. So we just had to go ahead and put it back on the agenda so that we cited the resolution correctly. That being said, and we have historically funded Ruffner Mountain. So in regards to any spontaneous Christmas gifts, I just want to clear that up and say that we have funded Ruffner Mountain prior to this moment. Councilman London, any questions?
And also, if you live in the city of Irondale, you can go there and sign up for free.
Yep.
Your kids, your family, whoever, if you live in the city of Irondale. So, I think it's money well spent when you're able to, and it's not just Ruffner.
Ruffner, Turkey Creek, and Red Mountain.
Turkey Creek and Red Mountain. So those 3, you can sign up for free if you're a resident of Irondale. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes, Council President Spivey, when we discussed the consent agenda items the last time, our city attorney did state that if you abstain on anything, you abstain on everything else. So I ask that this be placed on the regular agenda.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Councilman Box, any questions or comments on this item?
No, as you said, you've made it plain that it's just a one-word modification.
Councilman Sims?
No, I just want to say again, Ruffner is a great thing. I'm glad we have part of it in our city. Besides the fact that we could all, if you live in Irondale, get a free membership. They also provide free programs for our schools. Any school, they've got grades K through 12, can go to field trips at Rubner. They've got some program that's, age-based, and it costs the schools nothing except for just, I guess, transportation there. So encourage your teachers and principals to get your kids to Ruffner more. I got to go with the third grade recently with Grantswood, and it was a great trip. Found the only deaf snake on the mountain that somehow did not see 30 kids walk by until the last couple of us got by, but not a fan of snakes. But anyway, it's a great time. Always love going to Ruffner, and so go keep supporting them. Go out there and visit.
Thank you. My comments on the agenda item are as previously stated. With respect to Councilwoman Cuellar, we'll transition this to regular agenda. Item number 2, resolve the resolution 2025 R-100 authorizes the execution of an agreement with the Greater Birmingham Humane Society for the provision of animal control and pound services. A reoccurring item. We've done this plenty of times. Councilman London, do you have any questions or comments?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Just the only thing is this budgeted and what is our source of funding?
Double check that, Council.
Kellogg.
What's that?
Kellogg. Do you want them to speak to it? or do you-
Absolutely, yes. Is Chief Kellogg?
I'm Interim Chief Paul Kellogg, Irondale Police Department. To your question, what we've done is Lieutenant Hill has done all the heavy lifting on this. And what this alteration of the contract would be is that instead of having them come out 8 hours per week at $41 an hour, we would have them come out 6 hours a week at $41 an hour, because we've noticed over the time that we just, quite frankly, aren't having the necessity that we used to. If that's because the citizens are keeping better care of their dogs and stuff like that, nothing else about the contract is going to change. It's just the amount of time that they'd be per week that they charge us.
Right, I just asked, are these funds budgeted?
Yes,
And
this
if-
is something
okay,
that-
what's
this
our
is-
source of funding?
If I could, I really
General
don't.
fund.
Beg your pardon?
General fund.
It'll be general fund.
Thank you. That's all I needed. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Box?
No questions. I love it when we get animals under control.
Councilman Sims?
No questions. It's all straightforward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you, sir. Do we agree to keep this item on consent?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Item number 3, resolve the resolution 2025 R-101 allows the city of Irondale to participate in the 2025 back-to-school sales tax holiday beginning at 12:01 a.m. on Friday, July 18th, 2025, and ending at 12 midnight on Sunday, July 20th, 2025. Pretty self-explanatory. Councilman London, any questions or comments?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions?
Councilman Box?
I'm good.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And I'm good as well. Do we agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
All right. Item number 4, resolve the resolution 2025-R-102 adopts and allocates funds for an outdoor fitness court as part of the 2025 National Fitness Campaign. I know normally I would defer to Mayor Stewart when his name is beside something, but I don't believe we have anybody to speak on this item, so I'll share with what I know about it. Essentially, there is a grant that we are applying for. Did you want to speak on it? Okay, there's a grant that we're applying for with a potential match. But that being said, we are basically just kind of sticking our hand up and just say, hey, recognize me, see me over here. The final act doesn't really come down until October. If the money is available, then we would move on the resolution at that time. If the money isn't available on the grant that we're anticipating, then we won't. So this is just, there's no monetary value associated with it at this moment. We're just kind of sticking our hands up and say, hey, we'd be interested in the grant if at all possible. Councilman London?
Yes, and what this is about is all over the United States, the national fitness community come out and build these fitness centers, outdoor fitness centers would have weights and different things that's out in your parks or wherever you decide to put it. So, instead of you out there walking the track, you can also get your workout in. So this is happening all over the country. So we're excited that we can have an opportunity to have it in one of our parks.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Quayle?
Yes, just for the sake of clarity, it says that we're going to accept a $50,000 grant. But then there's providing a local match in the amount of $120,000 from budgeted or internal funds. So you just said that if the money is there, then it's nothing. It wouldn't cost anything.
No, I did not say that.
Okay.
That was not what I
So
said.
that's what I'm saying, sake of clarity. Is the city obligated for this $120,000?
Do you want me to respond to you in your time?
Yes, please.
Okay. So to your point, yes, it's a $50,000 grant with a 120 match. What this resolution is doing is just saying, hey, we're interested in taking part of that grant. Now, if the time comes around, my comment was about the money per se,
Yeah.
wasn't from our 120. It's just, are those 50,000 going to actually be there and be available to us because we raised our hand? So yes, if the legal, you're looking at me?
I
Okay.
was just going to say, it actually says that the city will endeavor to provide a local match.
Right, exactly. But the funds have to be available for us to actually
Correct.
match.
And this would accept the grant.
Yes, exactly.
And endeavor at a later date to provide a
Does
local
that help,
match.
Councilwoman Quayle?
Yeah, so if the 50,000 is there, the city needs to come up with a match of 120,000.
Accurate.
That was the question, because I was led to believe that we wouldn't have to match anything at all. I just wanted to make sure if they have the 50,000 available, we still have to come up with 120,000.
That's why I said at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Box?
No, I think this is great. I don't know, I'm not sure if this one's through Blue Cross Blue Shield or another
Yes.
entity.
It is.
But hopefully this will land as it was promised over at the Heritage area. But you know, right now, as you said, we're just raising our hand, trying to see if the money's there. Then we'll see, you know, how the city can come up with those other funds.
Yes, sir. Councilman Sims?
I learned about this program a few years ago, and I'm just glad to see that we're trying to get a part of it.
I think this is a great opportunity. Councilman London, I know that when we started talking about the ballpark and everything, something like this was actually kind of a proposed element. Obviously, it didn't make the cut. So when I saw this item, I thought about that conversation a little bit and reflected upon it. So I hope that the money for the grant is there, and I hope we're able to take advantage of this opportunity. Does this item number 4, does it remain on consent?
No, I'm gonna ask you move it to regular. Thank
Fair
you.
enough. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into the proposed regular agenda. Item number 5 and 6 are dueling resolutions. Item number 5 is a remodeled version of Councilman Sims' original version. And then following item number 5, we have item number 6, which is Councilwoman Cuellar's interpretation of the best practice. That being said, item number 5, resolve that resolution 2025 R99 establishes the municipal board member training guide for use by citizens appointed to serve on a municipal board by the Irondale City Council. And I believe, if I may speak freely for just a moment, Councilman Sims, I believe this was just an opportunity to put some structure in place when citizens come on the boards. A lot of times there might not be a lot of education or things of that nature that they kind of consume before they are tasked to do those
Correct.
responsibilities.
I
Please.
feel like we appoint people to boards, and then we have just kind of set them loose. And speaking to people who have served on boards, this is apparently something that some of them have kind of asked for in the past. It's just to have a little, I guess, a guide is what I called it. This just establishes that there will be some sort of training. It doesn't approve an actual guide. The only one change from the last meeting to this meeting in this is item 3, which got discussed at great length last time. Councilor Box and I had a conversation, and I don't have the final wording of right now. Do you have could you read do we have that? The new paragraph 3.
We sent that to Lee earlier.
I didn't
No, it might not
get
be
the
in
final
here.
version,
Yeah.
but it basically, I can
Can we
read
have
it or
copies made quick?
We don't need to, if you want to read item number 3, it's fine.
This is the part that last time it said that the
Number three.
city council president or his or her designee and the city attorney would be able to review and approve any revisions to the training guide. And now it says,
Would you like her to read item
You
number
can- you
3
can read
as
it.
far as how it's been reworded?
Any changes made to the municipal board member training guide will be provided by the city council in the event of a time-sensitive change as determined by the city attorney. The change may be implemented by the city attorney and the city council president or his or her designee.
and so in a spirit of compromise, we discussed, and I'm fine with that change, and everything else is as it was.
Thank you. Councilman Lennon, any questions or comments?
No question.
Okay. Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Thank you. Councilman Box?
No questions, and Council Sims, I appreciate you being willing to compromise and work that out a little bit. Thank you.
If I may add to that, that was our concern, Council President Spivey, was what it would do. And it's why on this amended resolution that I included, I thought it would be good to just do it by means of a special council meeting. If it's an emergency, that can be done. All that's required is a 24-hour notice. And this way you've got the council involved in it.
You want to elaborate more on your version in
Yes.
the next item? Feel free to do so.
Yes.
I too appreciate y'all's collaboration, because that's also when the concerns were brought forward, it put a lot of power in my chair, and I'm not going to be city council president forever, and we're not going to be council people forever.
Right.
So that's why I didn't vote for it. So I appreciate you guys collaborating and bringing this item back. That being said, it will remain on the regular agenda. Item number 6, the dueling resolution. Resolved that resolution 2025 R103 authorizes the municipal board member training guide for use by citizens appointed to serve on a municipal board by the Irondale City Council. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes, so this resolution that I'm presenting, what we did in working with the city attorney is the training guide is now a part of number 1, so that it's one resolution. Item number 1 in this resolution 2025-R-103, it has the municipal board member training guide is now shown as Exhibit A. So that's part of this resolution. The other part was the training guide itself, the way it was presented to the council the last time we met. It included an commission member training guide. Well, the appointments to the commission are made by the mayor, not the council. And because the code separates the mayor's authority to appoint the members to the P&Z commission, that part needed to be taken out because that's his decision to make. That's not the decision of the council to make. So that was taken out of that bold print that said municipal board and commission member training guide. That was struck. And so now it says, this part, municipal board member training guide. That needed to be taken out. Also, I added the part, number 3 now becomes number 4, and it says the revisions need to be made before the next scheduled council meeting. A special council meeting will be called to address and discuss the necessary changes with the city attorney. So either one, I'm good with either one, whether it's Councilor Sims, that language there, or this language. It still gives the council the ability to have a say if we have to have revisions. That was a concern that we had. Then also added to the training guide, the language on section 5, helpful examples and key phrases. Point E, point of order, only added such as an infraction of the rules of improper decorum in speaking. That comes right from Robert's Rules of Order, and I felt it was important to include that part because we're talking about improper decorum in speaking. Then, coming from Robert's Rules of Order, I added and I gave to all of you a handout that came from there. parliamentary procedure, productive meetings. That became section 6. Everything else remained the same in this guide. So those are the only changes that were made. These were presented at our last council meeting, and I made the member training guide a part of the resolution itself.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Lennon, any questions or comments?
Well, you know, we have two, but you have two here. I don't know, Councilman Quaylor, you have one, Councilman Sims have one. Got to make a decision. Y'all talked about collaborating and make sure the same language, or are you good with Councilman Sims' language in his?
What I said was I was fine with the number 3. That's shown as number 4 in mine. But I would like to add item number 1, which addresses the municipal board member training guide. It's shown as Exhibit A. It's not shown as Exhibit A in his resolution. And I would like to add the language on helpful examples and key phrases, item E, to add the language such as an infraction of the rules of improper decorum and speaking. And then add section 6 that's shown in this revised guide, because these things come straight from Robert's Rules of Order. Thought it was important to include that.
Remind that you are on Councilman London's time. Any?
No, because, you know, we're going to take these in order.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to give her a heads up.
Right, I'm saying if we can merge the two of them, I'm good with it. I would like us to have this in this training guide and have it as a part of the resolution itself.
So, Councilman London, you still have some time on your clock?
I've
You're
said what
good?
I'm saying. We're going to take these in order.
I understand.
Yes or no?
Yep.
Okay.
So for what Councilman London, if it can, may I piggyback on your time a little bit?
Yeah, you're
You're
right.
done with your questions and comments?
Yeah.
What he's getting at, and this one I've referred to it as a dueling ordinance, one of them will win the day. If one passes, then the other passes, then the last one that passes is the winner. If the first one passes, and depending on how the second one is introduced on the floor, then it will have its own destiny as well. That's what I mean by dueling ordinances, and I think that's the point that Councilman London's trying to make.
So if they want to get together and collaborate before we put this on the agenda, and then next time have one of these on the agenda, I think that'd be best for them.
Copy. Councilwoman Quayer, your time now.
Yes, I'm certainly happy to collaborate with Counselor Sims on it, and I ask that we consider postponing this to give us that opportunity to collaborate and just have one resolution.
Does that conclude your comments?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Okay, kind of my understanding, and forgive me for not being as educated as all you other guys up here, but my understanding on this was the intent of Counselor Sims's resolution was simply to establish the fact that we're going to establish a training guide. What he attached was a proposed example, but was not an approval of the training guide. With the change that I submitted that he agreed with was the fact of taking that authority out of the council president's chair. So this resolution to me is only saying we're going to put together a training guide. I like what you're coming up with, but I think we could do that in a work session. So I don't see why we could not pass the resolution to say we're going to have the training guide and then visit putting that training guide together as a collaboration between everyone, not knocking what you've done and the work you've already done. But I believe he submitted to the League of Municipalities to get an opinion on his proposed training guide. Have you heard back from that, Councilor Sims?
I have not.
Have not.
I did not call.
So to me, my personal view on this, let's pass the proposal to announce that we're going to have a training guide. Then let's get together, have a work session or whatever we need to do to look at what you've prepared. Let us have some input on it as well, and then come back and pass the training guide as a standalone.
Okay, that sounds good.
So does that mean that you would actually then withdraw your resolution for tonight so that it doesn't need to be voted on, and then we can look at your proposals and add whatever ideas that we might have as well in a work session?
Yeah, and as I stated before, I am fine with the language that Counselor Sims has. It wasn't shown on this resolution that we received in our packet. That was the concerns that Counselor Box and I had. And so if you want to pass this resolution with the language that our city clerk has read, I'm good with it, with passing it with that amended language.
Fair enough. Does that conclude your comments, Councilman Box?
Yes, it does. Thanks, sir.
Outstanding. Let's see here. Councilman Sims, what say you, sir?
I have no questions on item number 6, other than, I guess, if, based off of Councilor Cuellar's last statement, then are we going to go ahead and remove that, or?
When the agenda is introduced, then acts accordingly. All right. I do not have any comments or questions on those two items. Now, that being said, 5 and 6, no. So 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 deal with our ZBA appointments that we interviewed in our work session from 5 to 6 today. So we're obviously not going to deliberate that on the dais. We'll just move those items accordingly when we come to them. Thank you. That being said, we have some other matters to attend to that's not on this agenda. I am going to make a motion that we go ahead and look at adding resolution 2025-R-09. This item, and I'll be more than happy to pass around copies of it. While I'm doing so, I will read my copy.
Councilor, do you mean R109?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I misspoke. R109. Thank you. Resolution for censure of City Councilor Cindy Cuellar. Since we don't have the benefit of having this online, and this is the first time my peers are seeing this, I'll just go ahead and read the entire thing for transparency. Whereas the City of Irondale City Council is committed to maintaining a high standard of ethical conduct and professionalism among its members to ensure public trust and effective governance. Whereas it is the explicit duty of all public officials and city councilors to act in the public's interest, respect the process required for good governance, and dutifully, professionally, and ethically use the power invested in the public office they officially occupy. Whereas the success of its governments depends on maintaining decorum while holding the office of city councilor and seeking all times to preserve the order and conduct of meeting, including an exercise in restraint by refraining from inappropriate behavior, including the uses of profanity when an item placed forward does not pass, or make transphobic comments regarding an agreement with a neighboring city. Number 2, refraining from making accusatory, baseless, and unfounded allegations against any members of the City Council who disagrees with your position on a voting matter or comments made. Refraining from spreading misinformation that you are being discriminated against because of nationality and gender when no other member of the City Council has commented on your nationality or gender. Refraining from making derogatory statements about new businesses coming to the city in a public forum which has an effect to deter businesses from locating in the city and inhabiting the economic growth of the city. And finally, refraining from promoting falsity in an effort to gain attention, among other things. Whereas for years, Councilwoman Cuellar has engaged in conduct that is unbecoming and reflects the actions described above without regard for any detrimental effect to the public confidence in the City Council's ability to service the community effectively and with integrity. Whereas Councilwoman Cuellar consistently makes false allegations disparaging the city's financial condition and financial records despite a third-party review and audit of such records, to wit, on May 6, 2025, following presentation by the city's auditor of the 23-24 audit, where the summary was, and I quote, "The audit opinion says that y'all are the best that you can be," end quote, and auditors gave a positive audit opinion. Councilor Cuellar continued to make allegations on social media and to news outlets about the accuracy, reliability, and integrity of financial information of the city, and also stated in an interview with a news outlet that deviations, quote, "deviations from standard GAAP accounting practices may indicate underlying issues such as mismanagement, inadequate internal controls, or potential fraud, end quote. Whereas again, on June 2nd, 2025, Councilwoman Cuellar took the news media to promote campaign of misinformation and sow seeds of discord by making baseless and unfounded accusations about the integrity of the city's finances. Whereas these continued unfounded allegations are a clear disregard for the accuracy and information provided by the council by an independent auditor. Whereas on May 31st, 2025, Councilwoman Cuellar visited the restricted area in City Hall where the administrative offices are present to review city bills and left an unauthorized person unattended and free to move about city offices through city files and mail without regard for the weight of her actions and her abuse of her access to sensitive information. Whereas the city council will not continue to tolerate this behavior by Councilwoman Cuellar, as they are clear misrepresentations of the facts and are done to attempt to cause outrage amongst the public. And whereas the city council will not normalize abuse behavior that leverages power to manipulate people and public resources, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of Irondale, Alabama, in regular meeting duly assembled, a quorum being present, that Councilwoman Cindy Cuellar is formally censured for conduct unbecoming a public official for the reasons stated herein. I am asking for the agenda that you have presented in front of you, although not approved as of this moment. Councilman London, what say you about adding this item?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cuellar, what say you about adding this item?
Am I allowed to respond to
We can
what
go
you-
through
what
it in
you've
just a
done
moment.
here?
What's
No,
the-
it
what's on-
doesn't need to be added.
Well, let's see if it's going to be added first, and I'll allow you to respond. Councilman Box, do you agree to add it?
I think some things in here, well, okay, so we're just talking about adding it to the.
We're talking about if we're adding it to the
We're not
agenda.
deliberating or discussing.
We can deliberate it after it's been added,
Yes.
if it's been
We
added.
can add to the agenda.
Okay. Councilman Sims, do you recommend adding this to the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. I myself recommend adding this to the agenda. We'll go through standard process. Councilman London, any questions or comments if you care to do so?
No question.
No questions. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Several of these comments are inaccurate.
Point of order there, Council President, we have some chatter out there.
Point of order.
Yes, please.
Was it on the agenda? Did we get a chance to talk about it?
If we've already had
We
it,
had an opportunity, we just weren't given any.
you're more than welcome at the next council meeting when it's a non-agenda item to speak to it at that point. But to your point, it was not on the agenda. We are making a comment about adding to it.
Influence my councilman by having an opportunity to speak. Is that what you're telling me?
We have not had
Not at
public
this moment.
comments on
We're
agenda
not giving you an
items.
opportunity to speak on it.
We will still have public comments on agenda items.
Yeah, once it's added to the agenda, yeah, we'll speak on it that time, sorry. We were with you, Councilwoman Cuellar? Thank you.
Will you start again?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Number 1 is false. Number 2 is false. Number 3 is false. Number 4 is false. Number 5 is false. All of these are false comments. It's absurd to be having something here, accusatory, baseless, and unfounded allegations against any of the member of the city council who disagrees with your position. Really? No, I present reasons for not supporting whatever is being proposed. That's what I do. And it's not unfounded allegations. It's not accusatory. Spreading misinformation about you being discriminated against because of nationality and gender. I have been spoken to in condescending tones by members of this council. I had one council member that accused, and knowing my heart said, you know, I know that this is this. That should have been gavelled. That should have been called, you're out of order. You should not be claiming these terrible, nasty, awful, evil comments that I know that's wrong. And then to say that it's nationality and gender, yes. You boys up here, you don't know what it is to be a woman. You don't know what it is to be a woman here, and I state how I feel. I do have a lot of experience in finance. I do have this, and I am made to feel like I'm dismissed. We have had audits that point out the very facts that I've been pointing out. The auditor has made these facts. I never, ever spoke in a derogatory tone to our auditor. Never did that. That was someone else that was interpreted as doing that. I never did that. I said, thank you for pointing out issues that I have pointed out before about the Alabama rebuild funds, about the opioid funds, about needing to look at our internal control operations. I pointed out these things, but I never accused him and spoke to him in a disrespectful manner. That's false. When I took to the news media, it is not a campaign of misinformation. It is to express concerns that I have after reading this audit. We never had the opportunity to look at the audit. It was put on an agenda with 29 other items to be dealt with in one day, 3 days before we have our council meeting. We have an ordinance that states if you get something right away, you can ask it to be postponed. Council President Spivey, I sent you an email. I asked it to be postponed. You didn't respond to me. I met with you before the council meeting when this audit was on our agenda, and I asked for postponement. You said, well, no, I want to hear what he has to say. The council needs to have time to examine an audit report, a 94-page audit report. How can we have an auditor present and be expected to ask him questions when we haven't had an opportunity to read it, to know what the content is? This has been done time and time again. I asked for a work session for April the 29th so that we could discuss the audit. We were told by our mayor on April 1st that the audit would be completed on April 14th. We discussed it during the council meeting. 2 weeks after the 15th was the 29th. We set it up. And what? It wasn't, we were told that it wasn't ready. Really? We're told it's ready on the 15th and now all of a sudden it changes?
Thank you. I'll come back to you momentarily. Councilman Box?
So I'm understanding we will have a second round, Council President.
That's, yes, it seems to be desired.
Thank you, sir. 4.5 years, I've been begging, preaching, pleading for kindness, for it's not questions you ask, it's how you ask them. It's not the way facts that you're presenting. It is the case of, are your facts complete or are they your opinion of the facts? You have to allow that other people may read it differently. I think this is a little bit of piling on, in my personal opinion. It's a little bit piling on. I'm not saying that parts of it aren't deserved, but quite frankly, I don't think all of us have had the proper decorum at one time or another. So, you know, a wise man once said, "Who's without sin casts the first stone." I think this is a wake-up call I've been calling for. But I also think it's a wake-up call for all of us. It's a wake-up call for our citizenry of how we treat each other on Facebook, how we treat each other when we disagree with each other. Doesn't show the love of Christ. Now, we can say the love of Christ has nothing to do with government, but I'm sorry, that's the only true government that counts. Every other one is followed. Those are my comments on this, Council.
Thank you. Councilman Sims?
I did not say that. First, Councilor Cuellar mentioned the audit several times in the past and today, just now. I had time that weekend to go over 94 pages of audit and do all the other things that we had to do. I don't know what you were doing that weekend. My priorities were get everything done, get ready for the meeting, and go over the audit. I did that. So I read every page. I don't know why you did not have the time to do that. As far as this, I fully support it. No questions.
Okay. And then as far as my comments go, I want everybody to understand, I'm not being flippant about this. I've had multiple conversations. I asked for this to be prepared. It was prepared. I read through it. I recalled the incidents that I see in front of me in my memory. I don't take this lightly. I've been serving for almost 9 years now, and I've never seen a censure issued. So I understand the gravity of it as far as we're concerned. And I respect what it's saying and its authority. I ask that you consider if you want to add it to the agenda. It seems the body says yes. It will have an opportunity to live or die based on a majority vote. This is an act of body and peers. So I just want to put that out there. I know that I asked for this. I might have initiated the process, but at the end of the day, it will be an act of body and peers. Councilman London, do you care to come for a second exchange?
Well, I didn't have the first one, but I thought we were just gonna add it. But all 5 of these are true. I've been here. Every one of them are true. She can say what she wants. They're all true. I have been called a racist by her. We all have. We have some new business that come to town, and she commented and said, those are not businesses. Yeah, and all of these are true. I've been here. Some of you hadn't been here every night, but I've been here. These are true. That's my comment.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
I respectfully disagree with Councilor London. I want to move on to page 2. Councilor
not a
Cuellar,
moderator.
Sorry?
did you not call on me?
It is her time.
It is my time. Visit a restricted area in City Hall. I did respond to Councilor Sims. He did make that comment on social media, and I said there have been numerous times when I have come to City Hall on the weekends, and that door that goes into the break room has been open. There's been a cord left by someone. I have come into City Hall, looked around, there's no one, so I removed the cord and locked the door, secured the door. There have been numerous times when I have been in the break room and a city employee that's working late has had a family member that is not a city employee staying in that area. There have been others during community events, that door has been wide open and anybody can go into that area. So to say that this has never happened before, they've never had unauthorized people, and I would like to ask, a city employee, the question was asked, are you a city employee? And the individual said, well, no, I'm not. Well, why is it that some people get privileges, such as the mayor's wife? She was walking around in this secured area. She had to get there to go to her, and yet she wasn't asked to leave by anyone. If we're going to make rules, we need to be consistent. It cannot be, don't do as I, do as I say, not as I do. That's a contradiction. That is hypocritical. And I even offered to work with Councilor Sams on coming up with a policy because the council does oversee all the buildings. But to say this is false. Everybody's been in that area and they're not all city employees.
Thank you. Councilman Box, you have an additional 2 minutes if you choose it.
Thank you, Council President. Yeah, once again, I'm simply going to say that it is the opinion, and I'll quote a famous general that maybe everyone know, but it is the opinion of a lot of the leaders that these things are true. Now, be they true or be they not, there's always mercy. And so I would believe that many of this have been Councilwoman Cuellar's attempts to do what she thought is best, although her methodology to the most of my constituents, it's not been an appropriate pattern of methodology. However, I would ask for grace and mercy in the vote on this. Thank you.
Councilman Sims, do you care to elaborate on your 2 minutes?
You made a motion. I don't think anyone seconded it, but I will second it. And I think this should be voted on, and I agree with it.
To your point, initially I was collecting a majority vote, but there has been a motion on the table. There has been a seconded. And legal, am I covering my bases in regards to adding this? If I vote for an aye?
Yes.
Okay. Group vote on, I'll just do roll call. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilman Cuellar?
No.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes. That item has been formally added to the agenda. I break for a second edition. Also citing public concern. I also asked for this to be prepared. Now, this may actually address some of the points that Councilwoman Cuellar brought up, and the intent is in order to streamline the ability or inability for people that are not authorized to access certain space to not be able to authorize those spaces, but still establish a procedure where people can still access different things after hours. I will read it. Resolution 2025 R-110, a resolution concerning security measures for City Hall. Whereas the city is required by the Alabama Local Government Records Commission to maintain records based on their physical, legal, administrative, and historical value. Whereas the safety and security of the public records within City Hall is of paramount importance, and whereas the City Council desires to ensure the safety and security of those public records and to document access to City Hall by non-city employees after regular city business hours. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Irondale, Alabama, in a regular meeting duly assembled, a quorum being present, that the new locks shall be placed on the doors leading to the outside of the City Hall building for security reasons, and the cost to accomplish such charge is approved. Be it further resolved that all non-employee after-hour visitors shall be required to check in the City Hall building at the E911 building just down the hall window for safety and security reasons. The current bills for payment and supporting documentation for each City Council meeting are to be placed in the E911 department area, may be checked out by the City Councilor desiring to review such material at City Hall in regular city business hours, and must be returned to E911 department area following review. These public record documents may not be removed from City Hall for any reason during such review. This, I'm asking this to be added to the agenda once approved. Councilman London, if you would like to, I'll just avoid the straw vote this time and we'll just talk about it first. What say you, Councilman London?
Yes.
Anything else? Okay, Councilwoman Cuellar?
I'm not seeing anything that's problematic here. Thank you for bringing this forward.
Councilman Box?
Yeah, no, this would be fine to add, just clarifying. We would have to go to the E911 door, has to be admitted through the code panel, and then receive our stuff, or we would still have a key to come in.
You would basically, what it's doing is that, do you mind if I answer on your time?
Oh, no, please.
Okay, cool. Okay, sorry. I just want to make sure I'll take your time. So what it's basically doing is the information that is being reviewed seems to be financial in nature. The box that's usually in the conference room that has invoices and things of that nature in it is generally behind that coded door. All right. And I understand we have our council meeting area in that general area. What this is saying is that anything that we could possibly want to look at after hours would reside in the E911 dispatch. We would sign in for safety reasons. That way everybody knows we're here. If a fire broke out, they're like, okay, we know we've got council members in the office after hours. If something pops off, the police officer knows that there are people here. No unfortunate mistakes occur. Also, this council chamber is at disposal for document review. This room is monitored by dispatch. So there's an additional safety level in there.
So then one question.
Yes, sir.
The keyed entrance to the room where our inboxes are.
Yes, sir.
Would still be accessible.
And so, yes, so I agree with Councilwoman Cuellar's respond to Councilman Sims about us having control and domicile of the property. I am not trying to restrict that per se. We still have keys to the building because we are still responsible for the property. I'm not negating that. But in general, this sets a policy for non-employees and how they are to conduct their business in City Hall after hours, if at all.
Just for clarity, when we check out the documents that we need to review, we can go into our conference room, which has a table where we can sit and take a look at these. That is what we're allowed to do. We control the property. We need an area, our conference room, to take a look at these items. We also need to have a key for access. And what we were given was the key that's on the outside door that goes into the break room. I want to make sure we still have that access.
I'm not denying that access. I'm not petitioning for denying that access. But what I will say is that in the interest of safety and things of that nature and consistency, if other areas that are under our control specifically are going to be chosen to be accessed, then I would authorize security cameras in the hall and other areas so that dispatch can monitor activity. The idea of using this council chamber for that document review is that it's already under monitor by dispatch. But if you choose to take those items into the council chamber, council conference room, then I would lobby that there's probably a camera in the hallway.
Yeah, there's a camera in the hallway. There's no need for us to not be able to go into our own conference room.
Not negating that.
And when we're talking about new locks shall be placed on the doors leading to the outside of City Hall, we need to have the keys
Scissor time.
to, I'm sorry.
Well, I thought he answered that. He said he's not going to limit the access to that quote-unquote break room, which is not really a break room. It's a mail room.
It is a mail room.
And it's a storage room that does have other documents that are accessible. So as long as he's not limiting the access, or if you change the lock to that room, council members will be issued a key to that room to come check our inbox.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Councilman Sims?
I would just like to clarify. It says that new locks to be placed on the doors leading to the outside of the building. So the key where we have access to lock, that is getting changed, correct?
That's the idea.
Okay.
And I'll elaborate on that.
I just want to make, I was a little confused after some of that back and forth, but I just want to make sure that's, I'm fine with all this. Just teach me how to get in through the E911 door and we're good. As far as the mail, it'll still be in the same place, or I thought it was also potentially going to be with E911 as well.
This only speaks to the bills. I'm fine with mail being back there.
Okay, just clarify. Thank you. I have no further questions.
So my point with the keys are, organically this came up and was like, okay, well, why don't we have people that are in areas of the building that don't need to be there? And then I asked the city clerk, I was like, how long has it been since we have the locks changed? God only knows how many elected officials have had a key to the building, how many employees have had keys to the building. At my branch, PMs dictate that I change the locks every year. So this is just that piece of it, because since I'm not denying anyone access to anything, that is literally just a PM point. So that's why I kind of asked for this one as well.
Very good.
And wanted to set up some procedures that layered in some security and some accountability. So everybody knows who's got what, where everybody's at, and that's the intention there.
Can I? Sorry.
We'll come back around for a second round. Is that cool? All right. Councilman Lennon, anything on a second round, sir? All right. Councilwoman Cuellar, anything on a second round?
All right, the only thing is, after our visitors, they need to check in, so let's say it's a warm day again, and I don't want someone, we're going out to dinner, and I don't want them to be out in the heat. Do we have a designated area for them to come into the building and sit while they wait for us?
Any non-restricted area, lobby, council chamber, I'm all good.
Very good. As long as we know that we're in agreement.
Yeah.
We got the council chambers, the lobby, they can sit there.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Councilman Box?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Sims?
I guess I just wanted to ask the city clerk about the mail and if it would still be in the same area or be held at a different place, and what her thoughts on that were, if she would like to. I'm curious your opinion.
The mailroom contains every department's mailbox, police, court, HR, confidential documents. There's not a lock on our mailboxes, so anybody can just walk in there and go through whatever they want.
The resolution came down the pipe without mentioning mailboxes specifically, so that's why I didn't harp on it.
Okay.
I think I understand where you're going, and I definitely understand the clerk's position on it. I would be fine if that was moved to E911 dispatch also, personally.
Would that be your recommendation?
Yes.
I would like to amend it and add that.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, you still will have a key to the door, but your mail will now be in a separate area. Fair enough? Does that conclude your secondary comment?
Yes.
Okay. And I do not have a secondary comment. So I will ask you, Councilman London, do we agree to add this to the agenda?
Yes.
All right, Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes, with the amendments.
Or with the amendments, Councilwoman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Now, that being said, since we all seem to be in fairly good agreement with this, if we make a motion and approve it, would we be willing to move R110 to consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Copy that. So we have a motion, I'll make a motion to add item number R110 to the agenda. Do I have a second?
Yes. Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
To the consent agenda,
To
correct?
the consent agenda, yes, sir.
Yeah, well,
It's still a proposed consent agenda at this point. Yes, sir.
Question on number 5, since we were all, I think we're in agreement with number 5 also, I think.
Were we all in agreement with moving forward with Council Sims's recommendation of item number 5 to
I was
we're good
fine
on
with it.
item number 5 to
Yes, and
consent?
we'll deal with the training guide
At a
later
separate
point.
time?
Yes.
Everybody agrees?
Yes.
Thank you, Councilman Linden. All right. So at this time, we have finished our deliberation on our items. I ask for an approval of the form of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the form of the agenda, moving item 1 from consent agenda to the regular agenda, moving item 4 from the consent agenda to the regular agenda, moving item 5 from regular agenda to consent, and moving item 13 from the regular agenda to the consent agenda. And adding item 12 and 13 in their additions with modifications as presented by Councilor Sims.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Council President Spivey,
Question.
was that to remove item number 6 as
It was
well?
to move item number 6 from the,
Oh,
No, move 5.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Remove item 6.
remove item 6. Yes, ma'am. Someone else started to say something. I didn't want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Did I miss anything?
I think
Okay.
we did second.
Okay, cool. Right on. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. All right, now we have an approved agenda. We would accept comments on agenda items only. Once again, still enforcing the 2-minute rule, and we do ask for the respect and decorum to be maintained.
My name's Judy Wilson, and I might like to comment that our city clerk was making all kind of facial expressions while Councilman Cuellar was speaking earlier. I think this is ridiculous, what you're
Point of
doing.
order, please.
What you're
Let's
doing.
let the lady speak.
What you're doing to Councilman Cuellar. I have witnessed in person many times, when the mayor would sit right over there and make comments, putting down Cindy or any of us in the audience, if we said something, then he would make some kind of snide remarks about it. You even have done something yourself. You would make comments about people in the audience out here. It's like, hurry up, I'm ready to go home. My children need to be in bed. Well, that's not really very professional either, you know? So people get their feelings hurt if somebody talks kind of strong to them. Give me a break. Y'all are grown-up council people and you can't take it. If she's telling the truth or it makes you question something once in a while, what's wrong with that? I ask questions. I like to ask questions because I want to know for myself the truth. Okay? When I watched it on, wasn't here in person, but watched when Cindy was overseeing a meeting, and the mayor was speaking, but she was the one in charge of the meeting. And he's on and on and on, and she's finally said, you know, Mayor, I would like to have some of the citizens have time to ask questions. And he's like, well, you know, that's pretty rude of you to do that. It's like, well, I just want to have time for for the citizens to ask questions. So he said, well, I'm going to turn it over to you now. Well, it was her meeting to start off with, not his. So this is ridiculous. That's all I can say.
Fair enough. Do we have any other comments on agenda items only? Yes, ma'am.
Michelle Barclay, 1118 Carl Daly Trace. I sat on the front row and listened to my council person say profanity. And I gave her the benefit of the doubt because surely that would not happen as a representative of the city. Now, I know that all of us mess up. Councilman Box, you're correct. But we're not sitting on that stage. And so y'all take on an extra layer of responsibility and leadership. And listening to you curse was not fun. I know that the censure thing is harsh, but I feel like a lot of opportunity has been given to kind of curb the behavior, and it just wasn't heard. So maybe this.
Thank you.
I guess I'm a fan of the underdog, but this is just nothing you can say differently, but it's a political ambush. You give someone no opportunity to review and to consider something, and then you ambush them with it. What also you're doing is you're infringing upon her and everybody else's free speech rights. We all have the right to talk to the press. And what you're doing is discouraging that and threatening people to do that in the future by saying that we're going to censor you if you say something we don't like. And plus, I'm getting a little sick and tired.
Let the gentleman speak. Please continue.
I'm getting sick and tired of the little side comments, the sighs from the audience, and the comments when Cindy speaks, but we don't hear it when everybody else is speaking. And hearing it right now, hearing it with the lady beforehand. And all this is a political attack. And let me just tell you, as an observer, it makes you look small. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Scott Lewis, 5189 Cornell Drive. Again, in no way is this an ambush. I stood right there and called for her censure years ago for her anti-transgender remarks, for trying to use the Irondale Police Department as a tool in your culture wars. This is not an ambush. This has been coming. Every single one of these remarks, everything that Councilman Spivey listed is true. It's there. It's on tape. There's a camera right there. Everything is on tape. I don't see how you can sit back and say, oh, this is just payback. No. We have been trying to get her under control. I don't live in District 3. Don't get me wrong. It's beautiful. Love the river. Wish I could live on the river, but I can't. I have no control over whether or not she is here. However, this is not a surprise. We all know this. I vehemently disagreed when my councilman did not try to censure her. I vehemently disagreed when the chairperson did not try to censor her. But now the time has come. It's not a surprise. It's not an ambush. This is ridiculous. It's years of just ridiculousness and hatred spewing out. It's time for it to stop.
Sergey Kilich, 1319 Marion Drive. Counselor Box, I really appreciate what you say about showing grace, and I'm all for showing grace. But 4.5 years, that's not showing grace. That's enabling. You are enabling Counselor Cuellar's behavior. And I'm very sorry to have to tell you that, because I really respect you as a man and what you do on that dais. But you are enabling her behavior if we do not get this under control. If I am totally pro censure, and if it does not pass tonight, which you are enabling future behaviors like hers. So I am very pro censure. And what small isn't coming up and trying to keep these council members accountable for their actions, because every single one of them, despite what Councilor Cuellar says, they are not boys, they are not children, they are adults, they are men. You are a woman, you are a grown woman, you are responsible for your actions. And the actions that I have seen since being in this council chamber, witnessing this every 2 weeks, is absolutely abhorrent. Thank you.
Beth Albritton, 2303 4th Avenue South, Irondale. Well, first off, the consistent reference to the cursing. I didn't see most of you here when there was a meeting 6 weeks ago. You, sir, Mr. Spivey, was the one who, because we had someone that had a problem with their hearing, wanted to understand what they had heard incorrectly. You spoke out, and I won't repeat the profanity you used, but then you got flustered and you said, well, I'll just stop this meeting and everyone will leave. And at that point, Mr. Box left. So I do have an impeccable memory. It did occur. So nonetheless, but in terms of ethics, potential ethics violations, ethics charges, they are to be taken seriously. It's not a matter of appeasing the public, appeasing residents, and as well as fellow council members. It's a serious issue. So you can roll your eyes, peanut gallery over here can just make mockery all they want. Quit trying to appease them, because one of you is the instigator on every social media platform possible, including Mountain Brook. I'm not on social media because of it, but believe me, I've read too much of it. Talk about being a child. I don't know. I think we all are adults, aren't we? But do we have to have the consistent, it's rhetoric. And I just feel as if it's not your position to be on Facebook. Thank you.
Do we have any other? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Mary Sher at 5276 Amber Hills Road.
Let's let the lady speak, please.
I have had an opportunity to work at some wonderful companies, some that weren't quite so wonderful, but it is a pleasure to work somewhere where you can have people talk and disagree and get over it. It is a pleasure. I appreciate everyone's ability to speak and speak their mind here. All of you on the dais, you each have a different viewpoint, and it's always taken into consideration. And I think it's important to keep that ability to hear each other, to hear each other's opinion. You have different strengths, and I think it's important to hear that. I don't agree with the censure.
Do we have any other comments on agenda items only? Yes, ma'am.
Kimberly Miles Stewart, 4030 Nicole Drive. I really wasn't going to speak tonight at all, but since Councilor Cuellar decided to mention my name in reference to being in the building, I was in the building accompanied by a city employee, the mayor. I left to go to the restroom when I saw your friend, Sandy, with loud music in the break room with the mail. So I wasn't wandering around the building, as you would like to say. Sandra was wrong and you were wrong. So don't use my name to try to justify that it was okay for her to be in the building, because she had no business in the building while you were locked in the conference room going through the bills, as you usually do every 2 weeks, trying to find an error with the city employees. So let's just be crystal clear. I was accompanied. You had your friend in the building, Sandy, unaccompanied. Thank you.
Do you have any other comments on agenda items only? Yes, sir.
Vaughn Barclay, I'm 18, Cardelli Trace. Councilman Cuellar is being censured, not fired. Censured, not censored, is an action that your peers take when they disagree with your actions. Censuring is best known as an action taken against an elected official by their peers. Therefore, it cannot be called political, overly political, or political attack. It happens only in politics, making it political. Condescending to someone is not the same as racism and sexism. Sometimes it's just a knee-jerk reaction to hearing verbal diarrhea. I have heard her cuss from the dais. I have seen her whisper and make loud whispers and statements as people are up here speaking. It's conduct unbecoming, and it could be considered voter intimidation. And we need to be careful with when people are up here speaking that they don't get attacked for their views, because that's an ethics violation going into voter intimidation and free speech. Shut up and listen. To Councilman Box, I agree that no one is free from having a bad day or a response, but no other council person has gone to the news with it, or other city council members of other cities with it. Hence the reason I agree with the censure.
Do we have any more comments on agenda items only? Yes, sir.
Sorry. I was just on my way back from Nashville. I'm working, sorry, my shirt's untucked. But anyway, I've been listening on Facebook. So I'm Mike
Name and
Davis.
address, if you'd be so kind.
I'm Mike Davis. My address is 1371 Creekside, Glen. I just want to go ahead and say, Cindy, I'm sorry that they're, wanting to censure you like this, but it is very well deserved. I say that as a citizen, not of anything that I've done with the Chamber of Commerce here. I'm on the abatement board. I'm on the industrial development board. It has nothing to do with politics. It has something to do with the way that you treat people and the way you talk to them. And I'm not going to say what you and I had one night after an abatement board meeting in that discussion that we had, but when accusations are made that you're saying that racism, you have used that about other people. You used it against people that were on the board of the Chamber of Commerce, if you remember that conversation. So
We're not allowed to
we
ask
had
questions.
that. And I just want to say, it's well deserved.
Are there any other comments on agenda items only? With no more comments on agenda items only, we will proceed. Since we have had our deliberations, our comments, we've approved the agenda. At this point, I would ask for a motion of the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. This brings us to number 1. If we could get a motion on the resolution 2025 R76A.
Move 2025 R76A be approved.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain. Consent is 2, 3 is consent. Item number 4, if we could go ahead and get a motion on 2025 R102.
Make a motion that R 2025 R102 be approved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
All right. Item number 5 was on consent. Item number 6 was removed. All right. So we find ourselves at our appointments here. So the way we're going to do this is it's going to be a similar situation as it was last time. Some of the supernumeraries were appointed. We're just going to take it one by one. We've got 1, 2. So we've got a 3-year term, a 3-year term, a 3-year term, and a 1-year term. So if we could get a motion on 2025 R104.
Move 2025.
25 R104, Mary Sheriff be appointed.
Question. Council.
I have a motion.
Exactly.
We'll pause for legal.
Okay.
I just wanted to say it's a 3-year term, 2-year term, 2-year term, 1-year term.
I
1-year
misspoke.
term.
Thank you.
Reiterating my motion, that 2025 R104 appoints Mary Sheriff.
We have a motion on the floor for item number 7. Motion fails. Can item number 7 be reappointed?
Move 2025 R104 appoints Sergey Killick for a 3-year term.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. We'll take it via roll call. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cuellar? You're abstaining on these?
I'm not abstaining. I'm going ahead and excusing myself now.
Okay.
I stated why I could not participate in the interviews.
Understood.
And I'm going ahead and leaving now.
Understood.
Thank you.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes. So that puts Sergey on there.
Make a motion that 2025
Thank you.
R105 appoints Trey Hawkins.
Second.
Motion, second. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Number 8 goes to Trey.
Make a motion that R106 appoint Claude Newell.
We have I'm sorry, who?
Claude Newell.
Carl Newell.
Claude Newell.
Claude Perry.
Claude Perry. Okay,
Claude
I'm
Perry.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I was like, huh?
Claude Perry.
Second.
I'm thinking
Motion, we
baseball.
got a second. Councilman London. We're doing.
Claude Perry.
Yeah, Carl Perry, yes.
Yeah.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
Make a motion R 2025 R107 appoints Heather Flaherty.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes. All right,
Move resolution 2025 R108 appoints Terry Johnson.
Second.
Motion, second. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes. All right. Moving
That's a
on
good
to item number 12. Item number 12, if no one cares.
Move 2025 R109 be approved.
Second.
Motion, second, roll call. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
And it appears the will of the people, yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes. And then finally, item number 13 that was on consent, so that pretty much puts a bow on it. We appreciate all of y'all coming out. We do, I know it got a little spicy, but overall, I think the quorum was mostly kept, so I really, really appreciate that. There was some heavy stuff tonight, so thank you all very much for your time. Thank you for all of those that stepped up, and thank you for all of those that were selected to serve. Asking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Adjourn.
Seconded
Second.
by?
Second.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank y'all very much.